So an interesting week as we get things, as we, make our way through our second week at the university. And as we're approaching again, perhaps a challenging time in our, time and place here in the United States and in the world. We've got really significant rates of unemployment. There's a lot of challenging things going on. It's also interesting. There's a lot of helpful things going on. In any condition, mindfulness can allow us to manage any of those situations more effectively, right? So that we get a deeper, richer experience of what we're actually going through in that moment. One of my favorite examples is when people sit in a beautiful moment where the sun is setting or the sun is rising, or the first time you see a flower that's in full bloom and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing in that moment. Our mind is quiet, right? And we're just having this rich experience of whatever it is. And what we're not doing is we're not naming, we're not judging, we're not comparing, we're not analyzing, we're just experiencing. And the more we can bring that aspect to our everyday existence, the richer those moment by moment experiences become. So when we're in that moment, there's a reason they call it higher level thinking, right? Because it's the neocortex. It's literally the top part of the brain. So in those beautiful moments, like we're not having, if you ever notice, there's no harshness, right? There's no judgment, there's no separation. We're just totally and completely immersed in this experience, and it's rich, and we have loving, caring thoughts. It's like, for some reason, this brings out the very best in who we are, which is an interesting thing, right? Especially since we're not taught to cultivate this aspect of ourselves, or at least most of us, we're not taught to cultivate this aspect of ourselves, at least until much later in life. Usually it's, you have to behave in a certain way, and if not, there are consequences, right? Which is another way of going about managing yourself, right? We can use fear, we can use the threat of punishment or failure to manage ourselves through situations. But I think the reason that this is such a powerful tool for so many people is because it offers a genuinely different way of approaching life. And there's a real richness to it and a beauty. So, but on that note, I thought today what we would do was we would drop into our meditation the way we traditionally do. If you're new, basically what we'll do is we'll find a good seated position. If sitting upright is just really uncomfortable for you for some physical reason, then please feel free to recline. You can even lie down if that's most comfortable. But what we want are two things. We want to be physically relaxed, and we want to be mentally alert. Those are the two most important pieces as we're using this meditation practice in order to really learn how to be mindful. So get into your position, right? If you're sitting upright, let your head rest gently on top of your shoulders, on top of your spine, finding that balance for your head. And then try moving your arms forward and backward, left and right, and finding so where your body can just sit in a state of as much balance as you can manage wherever you're sitting and however you're sitting. So whatever that looks like for you. And then I'm going to invite the bell here in just a moment to start our practice. But all we're going to do is we're just going to begin by noticing that we're breathing. So just notice your breath. Not controlling your breath in any way, just simply observing the fact that your body is breathing. Maybe noticing the the tip of your nose, or perhaps it's the back of your throat, or maybe it's the rise and fall of the diaphragm of your tummy. Whatever is the easiest for you to notice in this moment. Just feeling the movement of the breath. Thinking of how often we take our breath for granted on a daily basis. And yet, we can't live without it. And now beginning to deepen the breath just a little bit. So breathing in a little deeper through the nose, if at all possible. If you need to use your mouth, that's okay. But if you can, breathe in through your nose because that encourages the breath to move down through the body and to expand the diaphragm. And then lengthening that out breath, really letting the out breath stretch out so that your exhale is much longer than your inhale, if you can, for as long as you can. And then once your lungs are empty, feeling the turn and then moving again to breathing in through the nose. Nice and slowly, nice and deeply. And as you do those nice long exhales, begin to notice how your body feels. When we breathe in this way with a nice slow deep in breath and a nice long out breath, it can activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest, the calming aspect to our nervous system. If you think about it, this is the same way you breathe while you're asleep. And your body couldn't go to sleep if it didn't feel safe and secure. So we're just using the diaphragmatic movement to activate the vagus nerve, which communicates to the brainstem and then up into the brain proper that everything's okay in our environment. Everything is safe, everything is well. Just by managing our breathing. Feeling those nice deep breaths. And now begin to move back in the other direction, letting your in breath get a little softer and a little more gentle, which naturally will shorten the out breath just a little. Until you come back to that place where there's just a nice rhythm to your breathing and your body just very naturally takes it over. And come back to really just noticing the movement of the breath. Some people really like the feeling of the rise and the fall of the rib cage or the diaphragm because that out breath is so relaxing. Others prefer the coolness of the inhale on the nostrils and the gentle warmth on the exhale. And when your mind starts to chatter, it starts to notice things in your environment that are drawing you away from the breath and the present moment. That's okay. That's the job of the mind. Just take note of whatever's drawing you away. And on your next out breath, just gently release whatever that thought was and return back to the breathing, back to the breath. We do this over and over and over again, not judging ourselves because our mind was distracted. That's the nature of our minds. Just appreciating the breath for what it is and how it feels. Then perhaps beginning to extend that sensation of your breath out to the rest of your body. Just noticing anywhere where you might be holding tension, where things might feel really relaxed. Just noticing what's happening. I like to start with the crown of my head, see what's happening there. I can feel my glasses sitting on top of my head. I notice my forehead, a little bit of muscle tension, my temples, my eyebrows, little muscles around the eyes. Are your eyes holding the lids shut or are they just gently closing? Again, no judgment, just noticing. Just noticing what's happening in your body in this moment. And when you do encounter areas of the body that are tense or have some muscle tension, just bring your awareness to that part of your body. And breathe. You don't have to try to relax or be concerned about it. Just simply be aware of it and breathe. And then watch what happens. Again, just noticing what's happening in the body. And then we connect our breath to it and keep noticing. And moving down to the cheeks, the jaw, the mouth. It's your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Your tip of it on the spot. Is your jaw relaxed or tense? Notice your neck. Is it sitting comfortably? Are the muscles relaxed or are they straining to hold your head in place? Noticing your delts, down fully into your shoulder, the upper part of the chest, the upper part of the back, just noticing. And if there's a little story running through your mind, or if you've gone on a little journey, that's okay. Again, that's the nature of the mind, no judgment. We just take note of where we've gone and then come back to the breath, back to the body and the sensations of the body. want to practice just noticing without any judgment what's happening, not naming the parts of our body, not comparing them with some standard in our minds or to others around us, but just being here with our bodies, just accepting them for exactly who and what they are in this moment, right now, as we breathe in and out. And letting go of the upper part of the body, moving down into the arms, the elbows. Notice your forearms. See if you can notice the top of the forearm, and either the coolness or the warmth of the air as it touches your skin, or the sensation of your sleeve. And see if you can notice the bottom where that pressure is, whatever your forearm is touching against something else. You'll be working down into your wrists, the backs of your hands, your palms, out into your fingers. Again, just noticing what's happening with these parts of the body that we use all day long, every day. We take so for granted. And now releasing the arms and coming down into the midsection, feeling the rise and the fall of your rib cage. Notice your hips, your pelvis, where your body comes into contact with the chair, or the pillow, or the floor, or the couch, or whatever it is you're resting on or against. Again, feeling and noticing that pressure of being cradled so gently by the earth's gravity. It holds us at just precisely the right amount of strength. And not bringing any judgment to this part of the body, just simply noticing what it's experiencing. And on your next out breath, releasing the base of the trunk, moving down into your thighs, onto your knee, your kneecap, the backs of your knees, the shin, feeling how it runs down from the knee all the way down to the toes. Feeling the calves, any contact that might be there. Feeling the bottoms of your feet, your heels, whatever they're resting on, floor, cushion, whatever it happens to be. Now releasing your feet and your toes. Should I come back to the breath, back to the sensation of the breath moving in on the inhale, and a nice long out breath. And as always, when the mind gets distracted or wanders, just taking note of what it finds to be important and gently returning to the breath. And if we have to do that once or twice or 50 times, that in itself is the practice. And see if you can notice your whole body as you breathe in and breathe out. If you can hold all of it in awareness. Any place you find yourself naming or judging. Any place where you're noticing kind of judgment. Just releasing that and holding your whole body and your breath in your awareness. So breathing into your whole body and breathing out from your And now again, drawing your attention to the tip of the nose, breathing in nice and slowly, but nice and full, just feeling up that diaphragm. Filling up those lungs as we push the diaphragm down into the body cavity, and then slowly, slowly exhaling. Really feeling that exhale on the way out. Emptying the lungs completely, and then back in through the nose. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And starting to reconnect to the room and coming back to this space. I'm going to go ahead and sound our bell to bring our meditation to an end. So when you're ready, taking your time, just opening your eyes. Wonderful to be here with everyone today. So grateful for your patience at the beginning. And yes, great to be here with you, Karen. Hope everybody has a really relaxing day and a very mindful week. Take good care. I'll see you next week.